Connecting. We should be live in a minute. Give me a second here. Yes, we are. Awesome, awesome, guys. Welcome to another Operation 11 Charlie show. Another Monday here in Operation 11 Charlie. Hey, there you go. So, welcome. No, you're good. You're good, brother. Welcome to another Monday here, hanging out with us. Part two with Mr. Mike, RC World, man. A lot of stuff that we talked about last Monday. Mike, again, welcome in, brother. Thank you for
Thank you.
being
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me back.
awesome, awesome, guys. So these are a special guest again, in part two again for Mike's RC World, and we'll be talking real quick about Beat the Creek. My goodness, just a few days away from that. So
Ooh.
let me see here. Real quick, we have Jeff. Welcome in, guys. Welcome, Jeff. We got Robert, Mike here. Adams Playground. Welcome. Sergeant Jay in the house, one of our guys from Colorado. Welcome in, Sergeant Jay. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Jay, for remind me, bro. I've totally forgot. Crazy Monday today. So I need to call him tomorrow. Yes, definitely, definitely. Thank you, Soren, for reminding me, brother. Radioactive Scale RC. Good evening, brother. Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you here. Um, let me see here. I apologize for that, Jay, man. Yep, crazy Monday again. Getting ready for Beat the Creek. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of preparations. Eric, brother, welcome in. Welcome in, Eric. Good to see you, man. Can't wait to see you this week. This weekend, Eric, bro. Ahan, welcome in, brother. Good to see you here. Definitely, definitely. Osborne RC, welcome, welcome, guys. Really appreciate you guys. Um, so we have again, we are preparing for Beat the Creek. We have about 15 guys or so that we're gonna are going to be there. We have some other new veterans that will be meeting there for the first time that we're looking forward to uh to hanging out with them. And again, anybody that wants to hang out in our booth on the campground, feel free. Uh, there will be some raffles going on throughout Beat the Creek all over the place, so feel free to jump in. I know Scale Rat Robert will have one on his booth. We have I think one or two on our booth. Uh, um, uh, my goodness, Rips RC will have one. There's a bunch of other stuff that are doing raffles too. So feel free, guys. A lot of good stuff there. Um, Christopher, welcome in, my brother. Good to see you here. Good to see you. Also, I know that we were talking to one of our wife, one of Veteran's wife, right? Louis, right? So, Louis, if you're listening, my brother is still in the hospital. They're on ICU. You listening, brother? Much love. Love you very much, man. Get well. You're a warrior, brother.
He's got this.
Yeah, he got this. We're looking forward to hang out with you. We're looking forward to go visit you, brother. I know you still can't get no visits there, but we're looking forward when we get that green light to go visit you. We're gonna wanna spend some time with you out there in the hospital, brother. So prayers, brother. Keep the battle going, man. You got this, my brother. Prayers for you and your family as well. On the RC, something happened to Eric's wife. Prayers for your wife as well, brother.
Yeah, she tore her calf muscle.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
bro.
jeez. Thanks.
Prayers, Eric, man. Prayers for that, my brother. I know. Getting fast back from the army. Jeez, Louise, bro. Prayers, bro. Prayers for that. So, let me see. Oh, we got a raffle going on, guys. We got a raffle going on, right? That we opened last week on our Operation 11 Charlie Inc. Facebook page. And I want to share real quick. Let me see. I could share this here with you guys on the and it is a Vanquish Phoenix RTR, guys. The straight axle RT, ready to run, $10 a spot. $10 a spot. Let me show this before real quick. Let me see right here. Okay. So let me know where you guys can see it.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, so I passed it right here. So this is what we got going on, guys. It's a Vanquish, the RTR, ready to run, straight axle. So this is the it's $10 a spot, $10 a spot, and most like I think we're gonna probably close it this Wednesday, guys. Uh, um, Jake and I and whoever wants to join, Sean, if you want to join, we're gonna do a live drawing of the winner if we close it this Wednesday, guys.
No problem. Let me know and I'll join in. Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be 10 o'clock Eastern time. What we're gonna do this is on the post. So it is $10 a spot, guy. $10 a spot is the RTR Vanquish straight axle version, guys. So we put the link there on the chat for this. I think Jeff, you were banned from the raffles.
I was waiting for that to go.
Yeah, no worries, Jeff. You can still jump on it, brother. Jeff always winning left and right the raffles. So as good luck on with Jeff, fellow veteran. Looking forward to do his induction ceremony at Beat the Creek, man. We cannot wait. So definitely on that. Let me see here. So we got that raffle going on, guys. Again, we got the PayPal going on. Details on the he said, "Ouch," as we joking, yeah, brother. So no, you could join it. So again, the details and yes, May 3rd at 10 p.m. Eastern time, guys. That is the live drawing. This Wednesday coming up. We're gonna be doing that at 10. So doing the drawing. If anything changes that we have to move it for any reason, we'll let you guys know on that post as well. So okay. And I think that's it. Thompson RC, welcome, brother. Welcome. Good to see you here. Again, I think that's it, guys. Anything else we got? Robert, I know you got a lot of stuff going on, trying to get ready for Biddy Creek, right, brother?
Yeah. It's gonna be up until the last minute.
I know, right? Just awesome,
That's
man.
how it always goes.
Right? Always. And a lot of our a lot of our guys are getting ready, like Robert, and some of our guys that you don't see here, they're getting ready for Beat the Creek. So
I was more prepared for USTE, and I had a lot more on my plate than so I don't know what happened here.
hey, and it happens, brother. It happens. So
We'll see the thing with USTE, it's always Thanksgiving week. That's when people are just slamming me with stuff. And then throughout the holidays. But Beat the Creek happens as soon as USTE is over. It's like the next day I get messages, calls, packages, and I have a month and a half to get it done. Sure, I got you. That's all I got.
Do work, son.
That is just awesome, man. That's how it works, bro. Oh my goodness. And right now we have Busy Creek, and right after that we have Axel Fest Badlands, right? The month at least at the end of June, right? And this one is the beginning of May. So we have a little bit of lead there, right? Maybe. Real quick, I want to say here, Osborne RC, welcome in, brother. Vince Vargas, welcome in, my brother. Good to see you. Felix, good to see you, brother. Thompson RC, Juan Lacos RC Cape Cod, welcome, guys. Thank you, Osborne RC. Thanks to all the vets and active duty service, men and women. Thank you. Appreciate your support, brother. So let me post this real quick, guys. If anybody's new that doesn't know about Operation Living Charlie, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, right? And we help our veterans get into the hobby, right? But our organization focus in a one-to-one relationship with our guys, right? We work in collaboration with the VA and the PTSD rehab program. Now we've been doing that for the last year. It's going to be a year already that we have been working with the VA. So that's been amazing. So I just post our website there. So let me see here. So feel free, guys, our website there, any information, any of our veterans. I know we keep getting a lot of inquiries, right, from Operation 11 Charlie. We cannot emphasize enough that our guys that we keep growing, right, like we're doing so, and we want our veterans, right, to be within 2 hours of our reps, and there's a reason for that, right? Again, we want to that one-to-one relationship with our veterans, right? Is continue that brotherhood from the military, especially that we work with our guys that suffer from PTSD and some other conditions, right? And again, we just like we say in the Army, that battle buddy checkup system that we do here, and that's why it's so important for those veterans that apply, right, that to be within 2 hours of that rep. And again, if you apply for some reason we don't have a veteran, a rep within those 2 hours, don't feel discouraged, guys, because we're working towards getting more reps in each state, and it's just gonna take us time. Just be patient with it. Right? As we transition to become an outdoor rehab program, and as that's what we're working on towards. So feel free, guys. Again, thank you to the guys are being reaching out for us on that, and thank you, guys. I think the PayPal is going crazy already for this raffle that we got going on. Again, we got a raffle for a Vanquish RTR, my goodness, with straight axle, guys. So that's a raffle we got going on. It's a $10 a spot, open spot, and we'll be closing. We'll be closing that this Wednesday coming up, 10 p.m. Eastern time, guys. Anything changes when we're gonna be closing that? So we'll let you guys know. Real quick, we have Long Tall Texan RC. Welcome, man, brother. Good to see you here. We got Sergeant Major in the house. Welcome, Jeremy. Big Red Tony. Welcome, brother. Aham. Hey, how do we become a rep within the state? So again, that especially that rep process, right? You follow through our website that I posted earlier, right? That one is it takes more of a longer process, right, to do so. So feel free, guys, again, reach out to us, and we explain all that process to you, especially those reps, and so it will follow all the guidelines that we have on Operation 11 Charlie. Again, we focus on all our veterans, but mainly in our guys that suffer from PTSD, some other conditions. But again, like we work in collaboration, hand to hand with the VA, a PTSD rehab program. So it's very important to us that each rep is understanding and is informed how to work with our guys, right? Like that. So again, I think that's it, guys. So let me see here. Aham, feel free to share, reach out to us on our website that I put here earlier. Let me see, I could put it again. Guys, questions for Mike. Feel free to post them. I know last time he was kind to show us last show that museum. Sergeant Major in the chat. Sergeant Major in the chat. You're gonna see something if you haven't seen the last show, Sergeant Major. So you gotta see something. You gotta step up your game. Gotta step up your game, Jeremy. So I think that's it. Let me see here. Anybody else jump in? Thank you for being here with us. Thank you so much. Thank you for so much for being here with us. So I think that's it. So did I say? I think we talked. Robert, how was your weekend? I know. Did we talk about it real quick before we go to Apologize for that.
You're good. My weekend. It's
Too
just
short.
it's been like there was a weekend. I've been right here.
Still working on it.
I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
And we have a few more days, right?
Oh yeah.
Sean, how was your weekend, man? This guy is in Chicago right now working, right? You're gonna be there for a few months, man, right?
Yeah, I'll be here in August or something like so. But quiet enough. My hotel is they're gonna think there's like strange animals, but I keep taking every time I fix a part and I want to try it out, I take it out into like the perfect mulch beds and just dose the mulch everywhere. Like so. So one of the days they're gonna figure out that it's actually me, like dosing all their mulch out of the way.
Hey, when you come back after work and you see all your luggage outside in the lobby, I said, "What?
Yeah.
This line,
Yeah.
sir."
The only thing is it's probably too heavy for them to lift, so they'll make me go up and get it. So,
That's awesome.
but other than that, quiet, you know.
I think Bennett is muted. So I know Bennett was working. He was in Montana. He just got home from Montana back to Wyoming. So Mike, how was your weekend, brother?
It was good. It was good. It was the wife to be's birthday. She we had a little shindig at the house on Saturday. Her birthday was actually on Friday, so I took off from work for that and ate good and had a good time, hung out with some friends, and it flew by real quick, and it was back to work for Monday.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Never enough time.
Never enough time, right, brother?
That's it, yeah, for sure.
Awesome. I love. Let me see here. So I got some. I love this right here. Love this right here. Let me show this to you guys real quick. And this is what it's all about. It's one of our reps, Russell and his wife Angie. Let me know you guys see it.
Yeah.
So Russell, he went out to usual outing there. So Russell in the middle, one of our reps from Cali, and so we got two big supporters of Operation 11 Charlie right there. That was awesome, man. I saw that. Awesome, Ross, man, and Angie. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Love that. Thank you so much for the support, man, and helping spread the word of what we do, right? So it's not an easy task, but we do it with a lot of love, right? A lot of hard work. So looking forward. Thank you so much. Apologize, Mike, for interrupting you. So
No, all good.
So let's get started, man. I think we already have some questions. You saw some of these questions there, I think, from let me see, from Felix, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. Okay, he's I think you read it already, right?
Yep, yeah, he's a big fan of vintage 3-speeds and SRBs, so we definitely got quite a few of those in the collection. I think I talked about it a bit last time, but I've had over 3 dozen vintage Tamiya Bruisers and Mountaineers. I currently have an original Hilux in the collection, an original Blazing Blazer, and probably, I'm going to say maybe like 4 or 5, maybe 6 or so Bruiser Mountaineer trucks. So, yeah, and then I think I have 2 or 3 Sand Scorchers or something like that. So, yeah, big fan of those as well. I love all the vintage Tamiya stuff. Big fan of that.
Awesome. I know some of our guys that love that stuff. All the vintage in general, all this stuff.
Yeah.
That new to me that they're bringing out looks really cool. Is it on the cage one?
Yeah, the new buggy. Yeah,
it looks
rad.
pretty. It looks cool. Even when they take the panels off it and they've done the photos, it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely on my want list.
But I did. So.
We got RC Supremacist in the house. Brad, welcome in, brother. Good to see you.
What's up, Brad?
CK Hobby Shop, welcome. Thank you for joining us. So okay, Mike, let's go. Let's take over. Let's start where we were last time, right? We could take over that.
Yeah. I feel like, so I know kind of when we left off, I think we kind of got pretty much around the whole basement, or the museum, as everyone seems to be calling it now. And I think there was, I think Robert had some questions left over maybe from last week and maybe a couple other guys. So, I mean, if you guys want to fire away at that, and then whatever, like I said, anything you guys wanted to more, particularly hone in on this time around, we could do that. Or if we want to talk a little bit about the full size car and truck stuff, whatever you guys are feeling, you tell me and we'll roll with it from there.
If you have any notes, anything that you think you left out, feel free. Let's start with that until we get some of the more questions on the chat already. There's one out there. How many RC collections you have? How many RC you have in your collection, Mike? And I think you mentioned with 120.
Yeah, I think it's like 100. It's like 130s, like plus or minus 5 to 10 at any given moment. I keep forgetting. I wanted to do a count, and I totally forgot to do that again for this week. It was a busy weekend with the birthday and all. But so I guess one thing I pulled these out of the showcase to show you guys. So obviously one of the builds I'm more known for now.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Mike.
there we go. Okay, so one of the builds I guess I'm a little bit more known for now is the 2 rad build, which is the 80s show truck that everyone loves. And everyone always asks, like, what inspired you to build that truck and everything else. So there's actually a little bit of a backstory behind that truck. So I'll show you guys these here. This is a show truck that my stepfather Jeff had. It was called Monster Mash.
Wow.
It was an 88 Ford F350, 465 speed, Sterling 10.5 rear, Kingpin 60 front, and it was on 44s, and it had a tilt bed. You can see that's actually me sitting on the Nerf bars there. And the truck went through a bunch of variations, like most show trucks from that era. It was constantly evolving. So him and his partner Phil at work, they both worked for the sheriff's office, and they kind of built the truck together. My stepfather did some of the earlier paint jobs on it. He actually did the tilt bed system on it for him. And then he used to do detailing on the side of my stepfather. So when Phil would do the bigger shows like at Bloomsburg and things like that, he would loan it to Jeff like the weekend before, and Jeff would clean it and detail and get it ready for the show. And then naturally, my brother and I got to ride around in what we thought was like a full-blown monster truck at the time.
Nice.
And then years later, we ended up actually buying the truck from Phil. And then we actually took it to like the next level, and we ended up 4-linking it. TNT monster trucks did the 4-link conversion for us, and it went up onto 49s, IROCs. And then from there, when Mickey Thompson released the 54-inch TTC tires, we were actually one of the first 2 people. It was my stepfather and his friend that bought the first 2 sets in the country, and we put the truck up onto 54s. So that's kind of like, I guess, where my obsession with like old school show trucks started, was because we actually had one. And then I ended up having one myself that I just recently parted with. I just didn't have the time to show it and do all the things I wanted to do. But that was an 85 Toyota pickup truck on 37s. And it had the double tilt bed, just like 2rad. It had a small block Chevy swap in it. So that was that. Again, that's where a lot of like that, inspiration stuff came from. So thought that was kind of like a cool thing to share. Just some like, pictures of, I think I was probably about like 8 years old in that photo. So
That is sick,
yeah, cool stuff. But yeah, that's where the inspiration came from for 2rad. People always ask. And then the truck itself, like the graphics and things, was actually inspired by a truck that was a full-blown show truck. I think maybe even possibly down south, like in Florida area, maybe, or something like that. It was actually a 4Runner, but black, and it had the heartbeat stripe. And what's kind of cool is so there's only like a handful of pictures on the web from it. And one of the pages I follow that I love on Instagram is Monster Mini Trucks. And it's this guy, Pepe, and he owns Global Off-Road. He's a super cool dude. He's a Toyota guy. And he started this Instagram page where he reposts like all these hidden gems from, the last like 30 years of like cool show trucks. And that was one of the ones that he had posted like some time back, and I had saved it. And then when RC Full Drive released that Marty McFly kit, I was like, I know exactly what I'm doing with this. And that's how that truck evolved into that. And then even cooler is the guy ended up like finding my like kind of like somewhat of a replica of his truck. His was a 4Runner, mine's a pickup, but it was inspired by that. And like now I'm like, I talk to him on Instagram. So I love the interconnections you find with like the like-minded enthusiasts, rather it's like the RC stuff or like the full size car stuff. And obviously like doing tiny trucks, you're always going to take a lot of inspiration from, the full size truck stuff. So I thought that was something kind of cool to share as far as like, like what derived, that build and everything. So.
That is awesome.
Cool.
I think we have, I think, another question here. This is one Sawing Major, right? And it says, at these RCs, there's what's the top rig on your list to acquire? I know you mentioned that last time.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So the top truck that I would want is called Prima Donna, and it's a clodbuster that was built actually by a local guy, Steve Levine. And I just recently, it's from a couple months back now, but you can actually find, I did an article on it for RC Car Action that shows the whole truck. And again, that was another truck that greatly inspired Two-Rad. And I even was able to get like a pretty cool picture with the two of them, next to each other. It actually ended up in the magazine. So yeah, that's definitely my, I think we described it last time as my unicorn.
Yeah.
Sweet. And then I see here, Outpost RC. Can we see your 4-door OBS, Mike?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Hang on one sec. Let's unplug the power here. And we'll that seems to be a fan favorite as of lately. And I think I talked about that a little bit last time.
Yes.
So that was Ant's truck. And I first saw it down at USTE a couple years back. And I really wanted it then, but I think he might have had like just kind of obtained it himself. He had I think it's like Clint's Custom Trucks. Clint did the like the body conversion on it, and so like it was fairly new for even him. So he definitely wasn't, I think, looking to part with it then. But once he finally was willing to let it go, naturally I had to jump on that, and that has definitely become a fan favorite. And he did a really nice job, Clint, on the cab conversion. Like the windows are very done nicely. And then when I got it, I cleaned it up a little bit more, and I did like the other panel lines and stuff and everything. And I added the engine Cerasi weld wheels and the Swampers. I thought that was a good look for it. And yeah, so this thing's awesome. I love this thing. I used to have I had a 96 OBS Ford. It was extended cab, 5-speed, 7.3 diesel that I used to tow my 68 Chevelle, my GTR, and then the Corolla for when I go to shows or like the drag strip and stuff. And then I also have the 85 Toyota Rock Crawler. So again, I've always been an old school Ford fan, especially because now you guys saw Monster Mash too. So now you guys kind of know where my love for Fords come from. Because typically most guys know me for being like a diehard Toyota guy, but I really don't discriminate. I'm not like a brand snob, I guess you could say. Like to me, if it's cool, it's cool. And I mean, it's hard to beat that classic styling of an OBS Ford or a square body Chevy. So yeah, this one's become a big fan favorite pretty quickly. So
that is sweet. Real quick, I want to say welcome, Papa Shorty's RC. Thank you for being here with us. If we miss anybody who came in and joined us, thank you so much. Really appreciate you, Sanjay. Thank you so much. Yeah, we got some spot. Did somebody ask us if the raffle was open? Yes, the raffle still open until Wednesday as of now. 10 p.m. Eastern time. We're closing that raffle. Is the RTR Vanquish straight axle, guys. $10 a spot. And thank you guys for the support. So Matt, it said here, Outpost RC, love that truck. I have a 97 4-door short bed.
Nice. Oh, that's the one to have.
I actually want to ask you something, Mike. It's non-RC, but I've been seeing in the background there, and they're pretty damn cool. Like all the skateboard decks.
Oh yeah. So Yeah, so I was a huge I was big into skateboarding in my younger years. Now
Yeah.
at almost 38, it hurts a lot more when you fall.
It does, for
But
sure.
so I have some pretty cool ones. I kind of stick to I used to skate like a lot of world industry boards and hookup boards and stuff when I actually skated. But DGK came out with like a whole really cool car line of boards. So naturally I have, my Skyline ones and, Toyota Supras got to have. Is that a Supra?
Yeah.
But then probably one of the coolest ones I have is actually this one. And check that out. It's actually like
What? Nuts.
it's a grasshopper or whatever, or
Yeah.
a frog, or one of those two. I always confuse my grasshoppers and
Yeah.
frogs, or a hornet or something. But so I got that one. You got to have the Corolla because I have the real Corolla in the garage, just like that. And then this has kind of got all the cars, and then obviously the Holy Grail, the R34. Maybe one day when I hit the lotto.
They're pretty cool boards though. I was noticing in the background. I was like, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I love the skateboard deck still. Like, and that it's good because like that beam, the support beam for the house, like it's kind of like just dead space. So like it kind of works out good for sticking the boards up there.
I love it, bro. I used to ride skateboard way before you, sir. Way before you. So I was still the power, Bones Brigade, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love that stuff. Love it, brother. Real quick, see, we got Tom. Welcome in. Said can't wait to meet you all at Beat the Creek. Thank you, bro. First time going to an event. Now definitely stop by our booth at campground so we could you can hang out with us. Also, we got Juice Box in the house. Jeremy Griffin in the house. Welcome, brother.
What up?
Ivan, welcome. It's I still have my street board talking about the skateboard. That's the decks are rad. Definitely,
No
bro.
pictures. It didn't happen. I can't see my board.
Let me know. We're skateboard. I know it's not RC question. If you go back, who's your favorite skateboarder of all time?
Oh man, I'd have to say, so I always loved the more technical stuff. So definitely either like Rodney Mullen or Daewon Sung. Those are probably my favorite like skating videos growing up. You had the Rodney Mullen vs. Daewon Sung, like round 1 and round 2. So yeah, definitely probably one of those guys. Like I feel like Rodney's like the OG, of like every crazy flip trick there is,
Great choice. That's my favorite, bro. He invented most of those street tricks. Yeah. That's right there, Rodney Mullen, bro.
Guy was a beast, or is still a beast, I should say.
These young bucks, you want to search a crazy guy doing all those tricks? Search Rodney Mullen, man. YouTube, you see all the crazy clips from him. Awesome. Stick Caballero, well said. But he was vert. But going back to the street, man, Rodney Mullen, man, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me see here. Oh my, they're going crazy about skateboard. Christian also big fan of Christian also, especially on the air, big air, all that stuff back in the day. What's the RTR Vanquish? So the RTR Vanquish is. So let me show Rick. I apologize, Mike, real quick.
It's okay. All good.
I believe is the red one. Don't quote me on that, guys. Let me show it here real quick. And thank you for the support, guys. Everything that we do here will help take those guys to different events, outings, all that stuff. So that's the one that we got. It is $10 a spot. Is the Vanquish ready to run Phoenix straight axle version, guys. So that is welcome, Jake, brother. Good to see you, man.
Hello. Speaking of which, there's only 23 spots.
Only 23 spots. So guys, feel free, guys. So we still got a lot of spots open, guys. So again, as of now, we closing on this Wednesday coming out 10 p.m. Eastern time, $10 a spot. Kurt, welcome in. Man, they're still going by skateboard Animal Chin, bro. That's an old school movie right there, Animal Chin. If you're not a skateboard fan, you're not gonna like Animal Chin because it's but I love it, bro. Especially seeing all the famers out there. I love it. Okay, go ahead, bro.
No,
Go
all
ahead.
good, all good. Yeah, I like the sidebar stuff. So yeah, huge skateboarder growing up, and even like the BMX stuff. I rode a lot of street and everything. I was working on one of my quads today, and I still have my I guess like a mid school you'd call BMX, but like failure grade 1 frame, Odyssey race forks, Primo cranks. So yeah, skateboarding, BMX. But as I got older and have to be able to go to work every day, I don't recover as quickly from the falls like I used to. So it's easier just to stick with the RC stuff. You only got to work out, or you got to worry about is your ankles every once in a while,
Right.
So I know we had before, I believe it was Ivan. I'm sorry, I'm really terrible at names, but I know he was mentioning some
Yes.
SRB stuff before. So this is a pretty cool SRB with a True Fire paint job, some gold aluminum wheels, and then I got this one over here too. This was another one, and this one it's gonna be hard to tell. And again, I apologize for the dust, but this one's actually painted Subaru Obsidian Black Pearl, so it actually like glistens like a blue green in the like in the sun, and it's got some vintage aluminum wheels, and I got some other vintage like waffle tires and stuff that I always collect little tidbits for all these types of things, and then if again for the monster truck fans, that this Cloudbuster is actually my stepdad's, and this is actually one of the longest running trucks in the collection as well now at this point. So when he gave me the Blackfoot when I was 9, so he then got like shortly thereafter, he kind of I think we talked about this last time, like how he kind of conned my mother a little bit with the doctor's thing and the appointments and stuff, and like how he got to keep both those Tamiya big rigs for his birthday. So this Cloudbuster he got because she wanted him to go to the doctor, and he was like the complete opposite of a hypochondriac, and he wouldn't go unless he was like dying. So she was like, I'll get you something if you go to the doctor. You have to go to the doctor to get whatever it was, like a checkup or something. And he's like, oh, well, I want a Cloudbuster. She's like, I don't even know what that is. And I knew what it was. So he scammed the Cloudbuster out of her. And then there's also this really cool custom Juggernaut as well, which this truck, the paint on it is just sick. And what's kind of cool is, so on the back tailgate, it says Hot Rodical. And what a lot of people don't know is that Hot Rodical is Corey Bauman or Buman, however you would pronounce it. And he's actually the owner of RPP Hobby. So I've known Corey, and I have been like online, like buddies for a long time, since like the old RCMT Easy Board days. And Corey had a insane vintage Tamiya 3-speed collection, Bruisers, Mountaineers, and then Cloudbusters and Juggernauts and all kinds of cool stuff. And he actually had sold everything and bought a really rad Pro Street. I think it was like a 67 or 69 Camaro, big tire car, motor sticking through the hood. And years later, he found his way back into the hobby and has probably one of the most successful online, stores that support us like tiny truckers, like Crawler. And he's like, I know for a fact I order probably 78% of my stuff through RPP, so I've known Corey for a long time. So that was actually a body that Corey painted. He's actually a phenomenal airbrush artist. So another really cool truck in the collection that's been around for a long time.
That's nice. Real quick, I want to say welcome 907 Arctic Robert, welcome in. Kurt's RC, welcome in. We miss anybody. Welcome in. TT
Matt came in as well. Welcome in, Matt.
Welcome. TT4C Rough Gunning. And say he question for us: do you guys get rid of the Hummer, like we mentioned last Monday, Robert? And the next event that they will have a Hartford Rock. Sergeant Major is in possession of it. They are planning for the next event is going to go out. So they have some veterans out there already. So they're going to be working on that. There you go. Thank you, man. It's going to it's 907. Robert is going to be. It's going to a veteran on Memorial Day at the event we have. So we're looking for a special event to do that. So the guys find it and coordinating with the veterans. So thank you, man. Sergeant Major, all the guys from Hartford Rocks for taking care of that. Really appreciate you guys. And as soon as they do that, we'll have pictures and videos, all that stuff to show it to you guys. So go ahead, Mike. Apologize for that, brother.
No, all good. So those are the SRBs, and we went a little off topic. And I know we talked about also like the vintage 3-speeds and the bruisers and stuff. So this bruiser here This is actually my second bruiser I ever owned. And this was actually, what kind of makes this truck special is this was my first truck that I ever worked with styrene on. So when I purchased this truck from a local hobby shop, it was in very, very poor shape. As a matter of fact, cool backstory. I went into the shop because I couldn't even drive. I think I was probably 13, 14 years old. And my mother was getting her nails done next door. And of course I was like, teenager, I was bored out of my mind. I don't want to be sitting there. So there's the hobby shop next door. So I'm like, I'm going to the hobby shop. So I walk in there, and as soon as I walk in, there was a mint Mountaineer up on the shelf. And I was like, oh man, dude, what are you doing with that thing? And he's like, oh, it's for sale. It's $500, which for me back then was like $1 million. I was like, oh my God, I can't afford that, which was actually a good deal at the time. You think about it, it's like we're going back like 20 years. This is when they were still discontinued. And they used to go for a lot more than that. But then as I'm like, just like perusing the store, I noticed this truck behind the counter, and it's like destroyed. So I'm like, well, what's with that? And he's like, oh, if you're into like collecting these things, you don't want that. That thing's a basket case. And I'm like, no. Let me take a look at that. So he pulls it up, and like the body was fractured here on the corners here, like where the grill mounted and where the cabs bolted together, which is like common breakage points for these because people would like over tighten screws. And but everything else on it was like there, like the chassis wasn't bent. It was actually straight. The transmission like shifted. I was like shifting it by hand in the store. And I'm like, what do you want for this thing? And he's like, oh, well, the guy traded it for a Super Rooster, which at the time was like $130 speed controller because they were like expensive. That was like your dual motor speed controller that everyone ran in the Clodbusters. So I was like, oh man, I think I have that. So like jump into my wallet. I've got like $80. And I'm like, oh. So I quick ran next door and told my mother, I'm like, I gotta borrow a couple of bucks. So she was like, what? She's like, what do you buy? And I'm like, you'll see. Like I come out of the store with this like dilapidated truck. And she's like, what the hell did you buy? And I'm like, no, trust me, this thing's a gem. So I got it home and I stripped all the paint off of it. And then one of the things I did was I built, because the body was a little bit beat up, I've always wanted to do a Toyota with a cowl induction hood. So I actually scratch built that cowl hood on it. And I fixed all the corners that were broken. And then the truck evolved then from there over the years. Ended up getting like a fully powder coated frame, custom dual shock mounts. It's got M. Thompson aluminum wheels. And it has all my original vintage bruiser parts, like this custom machine bell crank, which are now a little bit more readily available. Custom machine aluminum lower shock mounts. And then the steering linkage was actually from this guy, Andy, his username was Space Mutant on the RCMT forums. And he made the upgraded steering linkage for the truck. And then on the inside, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it, but it has like a little bit, one of my earliest of early interiors. So you've got an original Wild Willie NOS bottle. You've got some shifters that I made out of paper clips and old Bruiser shock boots. And then it has a super rare APM Clodbuster fire extinguisher. That little fire extinguisher, people will pay like probably at this point like $200-300 for that thing, which is complete madness. And then on the dash, it's probably hard to see, but there's a little CB radio, and that was from a Marui, like I think it was like the Golden Eagle wheelie Jeep. That we had one of those in the collection at the time. So this is like one of my earliest, scale builds and definitely my first time ever working with styrene. And then like a dummy, I had caught wind that they were coming back out with the bruisers years ago when they were. So at the time I was like, all right, like I don't need to have all these now because I'm going to be able to get them. So me being me at the time, because I wanted to build other stuff and the full size cars and that constant struggle bus, I sold that truck. And I basically regretted it ever since I did it. And then I sold it to a guy that was on the scale 4x4 forums, but he, those forums are shut down. And I knew what the guy's name was. And luckily through Facebook and social media and stuff, I found a friend that remembered him and had like his personal email address and remembered like his actual spelling of his name. And I was able to track him down on Facebook. And I was like, hey, do you still have that bruiser that I sold you? And he was like, yeah, it's just been on the shelf ever since I bought it from you. And I'm like, oh, would you be willing to, sell it back? I go, I kind of regret it. And he's like, sure, it's your truck, no problem. He's like, and it's perfect because he was building some, 327 Chevy small block for a Corvette project. So he's like, oh, I could use the extra cash. So I bought it back, and it was awesome because it was in the exact same condition that like it left. So I was super pumped about that. He never even drove it. So it was just as mint as when I sold it. And that truck's painted with real car paint. It's actually painted Subaru World Rally Blue, which is like one of my favorite colors. So that's another cool little backstory, and for the guys that are like the vintage stuff a little bit more. So that was my number 2 bruiser. The number 1 bruiser I haven't been able to track back down yet. Maybe someday.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one somebody asked you, well, what was that one that you you were looking for, you can't, and you haven't been able to buy it, right? That one, that unicorn, right?
Oh no, that's Prima Donna. That's a
That's
clodbuster.
Prima
But
Donna, right?
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep.
That is so cool. Let me see. Welcome guys at Trail Crawlers RC. Welcome guys. Thank you for stopping by here, brother. Definitely, Dennis. Welcome in. Oh my God, man. And I don't know, Mike, if you want to show, I know you showed it last time, your collection, but I know the guys loved it. You want to quick glance?
Yeah, we could do a quick little walkthrough. Sure, we could revamp on that. So if someone's got something that was missed from last time, so we'll start at that same corner again.
Yes.
So over here we've got a part in my new FJ Cruiser. We've got Ashley's VW thing that was a Westmade done body on a GCM truck, and then we've got this Iron Pig here, which is a part in my new build, and then we have another custom bruiser project, tilt hood. It's got a tilt bed, the doors off of it. So that's definitely a little bit more of a long-term project. But one of these days I'll get to it. And then we've got this whole wall here. Got 2-rad, got some cool OBS Fords. You got my original Blue Lux that I built a long time ago. Really cool LJ, the Atomic Toy clones, my 4-door DEC truck, couple clodbusters up here on the shelf. This was the Nightmare replica that I'm working on. This is my all-time favorite clodbuster. That's my purple people leader one. Another SRB, the King Cobra one. I think we touched on that a little bit last time. Couple more custom clodbusters. I don't know if you guys even noticed this one last time. So this is actually kind of like a mini replica of my real 68 Chevelle. But what's kind of cool about this is it's actually a vintage advanced engineering drag car. So like it's got like super wide, like big tire style rear wheels and everything. And it's a vintage Palmer body. It was weird. Palmer had this body, and like they had done like a pretty good job on it, considering like that it came out in like probably the late 80s. And then they kind of came back out with it, but I don't know what they did. They like changed the mold, and it looked very cartoonish. So that's one of the OG ones, and it looks so much better than like that one you were able to get in like the last couple of years. And then I actually have another one. I'll show you guys in here while we're bouncing around the collection here. Just move some aluminum wheels out of the way here. So this is another one that I have. This is another advanced engineering car. And this one, the paint job on it was actually inspired by a car that was in RC Car Action magazine. So I sent this body out, and I had a guy, replicate the paint to kind of match the car from RC Car Action. It wasn't actually a Chevelle. I think it was like a Monte Carlo body. But I just thought it kind of fit the Chevelle body as it was. So I don't know if we got to this area. I cleaned this area up a little bit so I could like walk in here. So now you guys could actually see stuff. Like we have some walking room here now. So now we have a little bit more room. So now you guys can kind of see this stuff a little bit better. So little custom YJ there, custom TJ. This is Jeff's tugboat. And then the Snow Patrol Blizzard. Someone had asked about this on Instagram, and I wish it was back together so I could talk more about it. But this is actually a scale off-road XJ that was from Germany. And there's
Wow.
probably maybe only like maybe 30 of them, 40 of them ever made. And I think that one's number 16. And that was from like 2006, 2007. So long before like that larger 8 scale one we have now. It's actually handmade like fiberglass. So that's a super cool build. And then obviously the famous Twister truck with Dorothy. I know that's like everyone's like, that's like a fan favorite. And then I know we touched on this one a little bit last time as well. You guys can probably see a little bit better now, but this is that really nice F350 4-door that a guy out of Canada did. And it just has a really like awesome done plow and everything. So that's another really cool build. And then let's see, what else haven't we not touched on?
So while you do that, I have a question here, a couple of questions for Sanjay. Says Sanjay wants to see that one clockbuster that will be over 9K when you're finished with it.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, so that would be fool's gold here. Yeah. So this thing is it just has like the craziest of vintage parts. So Technocraft aluminum wheels, Trinity shocks, JPS aluminum gearboxes, custom machined aluminum ladder bars by Chatham CNC, which are replicas of JPS had ladder bars that they did, but they're very, very hard to come by. I only have 2 sets. So my friend Mike has a CNC machine in his basement, and he's fortunate enough to be able to make those parts like replica ones, and I had them anodized. So it's got a vintage Max Trax pulling hitch, and then some other cool stuff is like these vintage Bart's headers, which are going to go on there too. Those are pretty hard to come by. The light bar on this truck was actually really cool. So this is a Sassy Chassis roll bar, and then my friend Kevin milled this light bar part for me. And then the light buckets are actually from RPP Hobby from years back. He had done like a line of scale parts, and they were called Outback. It was like the Outback series. And he actually did chassis, and then he did those light buckets. And it was really like one of the only like aluminum light buckets available at the time. And years back, he had them like on the site. I don't think they were really moving. So my friend Cole and I, that we're both like huge Cloudbuster nuts, we bought like every remaining set he had left. I think I bought like, oh man, maybe like 30 of them. He sold them in sets of 5. So I think I bought like 6 sets, something like that. He bought like 6 sets. And then my friend Kevin machined those light bars for us. He was a tap and die tool maker, and he machined those light bars for us to work with those lights. But yeah, this truck is going to be, it's going to be like my cream of the crop, you know, when it's done. The paint is just like sick on it. I sent it out to a guy called Bonsai Motorsports, and he usually paints like legit, like, you know, 40 plus inch like electric speedboats and stuff like that. So he did this. I kind of just ran with the idea. I told him I wanted, I'm a huge like fan of like brown and stuff. So I told him I wanted like a brown and gold theme, and I wanted to say fool's gold, because I always like to come up with like witty truck names, like old school truck names. So yeah, that's cool. That's going to be the $10,000 Cloudbuster when it's done.
That is sick, bro. That is sick. Let me see real quick here. There was another question for Sanjay, but I think I missed another one. So, welcome, Jeremiah. Good to see you here. Also, I saw here John Martin. Welcome in, brother. Bruce, welcome in, brother. Good to see you, man. Thank you for having us last week at the Texas Crawl Fest, man. 2023. We had a blast, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting us. We cannot wait for the next year. And I think here Jeremiah says, Particle Man says, I've been trying to find a 70s Monte Carlo body to copy his real car, and I can find one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I know Red Cat's got that Monty body, but I feel like that's like I think it's like a mid 70s. I don't know if anyone actually made a 70. The one that paint scheme was modeled after. I'm trying to remember what year it was. don't quote me. I think it might have been like a 73-ish body. I'll find the article. I have it actually saved somewhere on one of the computers, and I'll find that. I'll try to like share it with him then or something like that to see if he could, if that's like the year range he's looking for, maybe it'll be close enough. But then trying to track that down is probably going to be no easy feat because it took me years to source those Chevelle bodies. So might be a little bit hard, you know.
So let me see here. Also, I saw another question for Sanjay, Mike, and he says, "What is your profession?"
So I work for the local sheriff's office here. I have 13 years with them in September, and my official title is I'm a correction officer investigator. I worked for about 6 years or so in the maximum security jail as like just a regular correction officer, rotating shifts. And then I was promoted to investigator just about 7 years ago now. And basically I'm assigned to what they refer to as the Office of Professional Standards. So I basically investigate anything that the sheriff directs me to,
Investigate
more or
was a
less.
current affairs magazine published in New Zealand. It had a conservative Christian
I don't know what's
editorial
going on. Something's
and
happening.
published a number of
So sorry.
Awesome. Hey,
Someone's iPhone's listening or I
Right,
watch
right.
it.
always, always. Thank you for your
My bad.
for what you do for your service, Mike. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
And Sanjay says, "Thank you for your service."
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate
Awesome,
it.
awesome. Guys, feel free keep while Mike shows his museum. Feel free to keep posting those questions, guys. Go ahead, Mike.
So I'm trying to think what stuff. I feel like over here is kind of where we didn't really get to cover last time. So this is another cool truck. This is kind of somewhat of a replica of if you guys remember from back in the day, it was a monster called Frankenstein. And it was kind of like this old school Ford pickup body like this that was kind of like a long bed. So I bought this from a guy, drawing a blank on his name. I think it's like Jeffrey Van Heusen or something like that. Super, super duper talented builder. And he did like a fantastic job converting this. This was a Midnight Pumpkin body, and he converted it into this like, longer wheelbase. It's got a custom ladder frame, kind of like an old school monster truck would have, like just like straight rails. And then I put RC4 drive Rockwells under it. So that's a really cool build. And that same guy, super talented guy, like I was saying, he actually built this Ford up here. This late 50s Ford 4x4. That's a completely scratch built styrene body, which it's funny because when people see that truck like at UST, they always come up to me. They're like, "Oh, that's a really nice 3D printed body." And I'm like, "No, that's scratch built styrene." So, and it's done fantastically. And my friend that works at a body shop painted it for me. It's actually a 2009 or 2009, 2010 like Challenger color, like an SRT Challenger color. So yeah, that guy was a super talented builder. I know we were talking about before with my friend Kevin, that was a tap and die tool guy. So he actually built this Toyota. And this is kind of a fun build because it's a little bit old school, a little bit old new school, if that makes sense. So obviously it's an original, Tamiya Hilux body, but then this truck actually has TLT axles under it. And then the wheels, some people might look at these and think like, oh, those are the RC four drive 2.2s that they, like one of their earliest variations of 2.2 wheels they made, but they are not. Kevin actually machined these wheels himself, and he machined the chassis and did all the tube work. It's all brazed together, and it's got custom like Delrin plexiglass like leaf springs. And then this body was also painted by Corey of RPP Hobby as well. So it's like a custom House of Colors, like candy orange color. So that's another really cool build. And then obviously got some vintage Technocraft Blackfoot wheels up there. I got to hoard all my Technocrafts while I can.
On a note here, Mike, it says here, TT4C Rob Gunny says, RJ Speed makes a reproduction of the Bowling, nice 1972 Monte Carlo body. So
Oh,
it's got
okay.
an early Monte.
Yeah, so okay. So yeah, I forgot about RJ Speed. So RJ Speed, Bowling, there was all those like older school companies would probably be your best bet to definitely check for like those older body variations. I know they made like I think they did like a 70 Nova and some other like 60s, 70s muscle cars and stuff. So yeah, good call on that. I forgot about RJ Speed. Yeah, definitely good call.
Awesome. As Vince Vargas said, a lot of cool builds you have there.
Thank you. Yep. Trying to think what else we didn't really touch on last time.
Show everybody your for sale section.
Oh, all right. Well, all right. So a little shameless self plug. If anybody is interested, we have a pretty cool Loops LC70 here, and this is actually professionally painted base coat clear coat. It's the same silver as my 68 Chevelle. It's on an MRC L Trail chassis with built up axles, RC4 drive 1.5s, and then it comes with a secondary leaf sprung chassis, which I think is from RC Crawler. The wheelbase isn't technically fitted for the body at the moment. The Link chassis that I was doing is, but this one, like you could see, it's like really nice, thick, like machined Delrin. So I was actually just gonna section it and then like aluminum brace it to shorten it so like you could have it on leaf springs. So I've got that. I got a whole bag full of like spare like low C mini crawler stuff. I have an accurate right-hand drive dash that was $70 from Shapeways. And this is a cool little project. These bodies are smaller. They're like the short wheelbase, like kind of like your Tamiya Wranglers and stuff, or your Pajero bodies. But this is like a project that I'm probably not going to get to anytime soon. And I kind of want to keep working on my full-size GTR, and powder coating is very expensive. So if anybody's interested in that, hit me up. I'll hook you guys up with a good deal. But you can kind of build almost 2 trucks, or whatever you want to do. But it's a good start. It's a discontinued body, and it's a Toyota body that's not your everyday just another Hilux. So something cool, something different if you're into more of the dollhouse stuff, for sure.
Awesome. I posted your Instagram link here and the Facebook link as well.
Oh, right on. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And what's your average time for a build if you're getting ready for UST or something?
Oh man, so I'm awful. I don't know if it's like a time management thing or whatever, but I am the worst. I mean, I have builds that are down here that I would consider them not complete, and they've been ongoing for the last decade or more. So I don't know how, but somehow I managed to build 2 rad in, I guess it was like 4 months, 5 months maybe. Because I'm trying to remember when they released the truck. So because I'm an RC4 drive team driver, I was able to get the truck right away. And then as soon as I pulled it out of the box, I saw like how high it was sitting and everything else. And I knew right away, I'm like, oh, I know exactly. I've been wanting to do like an 80s style show truck build. So that from when I got that truck to literally the day before, like 2 days before UST, like before I left the drive down to USTE, I was working on that. So that was probably my fastest build ever. And it was, it won, the best of show, which I was super pumped about. I mean, I was stoked about that. I mean, because when you go to UST, I mean, you guys know it's the best of the best go. So you really have to be on your game, like you have to have something really special. And I think probably blasting Madonna out of the scale boombox, the system in the back probably helped to gain it some attention with the judges. But yeah, that was probably my fastest build. But like something like the Twister truck. So the Twister truck, I think, actually took me like 8 years to build that. Yeah, it was. So the Twister truck, that was like kind of like a collaboration build between Pardon My Noob and I, and Richard did the body conversion for me. And most people don't know this, but what happened was when I got it from him, it was primed and ready for paint. So I was like, okay, this is going to be awesome. super simple. It's ready to rock. No filling, no sanding, no nothing. Just got to paint it, put it together, and then I scratch built the whole interior myself, as accurate to the movie. And I scratch built the whole Dorothy and like the bumpers, and then the chassis is one of those Outback chassis I was talking about earlier from RPP. But that was when I got the body from him. I got the chassis mocked up, and then I went to paint the body, and I was like, walked out in the garage, and I was going to go buy some yellow paint. And I see this can of yellow paint, and I'm like, oh, perfect. I've got yellow paint already, mint. And I sprayed the body, and the paint must have been old or something. And it just like wrecked the whole, like the paint job was awful. I'm talking like where like it gets that like almost like solvent pop, where like it just wrinkles the paint and everything. And I was just like, oh no. So I didn't want to get into like sanding it. So I was like, okay, no big deal. I'll do my old school trick of some, like Purple Power or Castrol Super Clean degreaser that always just strips the paint off super easily, and you can just start fresh, right? Except what I didn't know was at the time is that Purple Power or Super Clean, whatever we want to call it, not only will it eat the paint off, it will also eat any body filler that the body had.
No.
So not that Richard's body is even way back then, because that's one of his more earlier bodies that he had done. Not that it had a lot of body filler in it to begin with, because Richard was always very good at using as minimal body fill as possible, but whatever there was, it stripped all of that out. And I was like, oh, it's like, and you don't think about it because like I stuck it in there to dunk in. Usually you dunk it for like 24, 48 hours, and you come back and you pull your body out and it's pristine clean. And now you just kind of give it a scuff and prime and repaint. Well, I pull it out and now it's like, it was not good. And I was super discouraged. So now I re-body fill it, I re-block it, I prime it, I sand it. And then by the time I got it back to where it needed to be in paint, I was so burnt out from that like it actually ended up sitting on the shelf for quite some time. And then I gained some motivation. I made sure I went to go buy new paint this time. And I painted it, and the paint came out good that time, thank God. And then I hand painted the stripes on the body and stuff. Actually, let's pull that thing out. Everyone loves this truck. Let's pull it out so we can take a look at it.
Yeah, Dorothy is awesome. I remember the first time I seen it on the UST was like, crap.
So that it was a little bit of a disaster earlier on. So then I finally got the truck put together. But obviously, like, because I was basing this truck off of the movie, it was one of those things where, it's not just about the truck. Like now we're talking like it's got to be about the whole Dorothy and stuff and everything. So, and that took an incredibly long time, and I was super particular about getting all the details now nailed down right. And the hard part was, I don't know if anyone's a big fan of this movie like I am. Like I was super nerdy about this movie. I had it on. So quick backstory. Sorry, total side mode here. But so I bought the Twister book to the movie about like how they made it from the Scholastic School Fair. Do you guys remember that? Like when we were in like elementary school and stuff. So I bought that book, and then when the movie came out, my nanny and grandpa had like begged them to take me to go see it like opening weekend, and I like totally nerded out over like the soundtrack. You got Van Halen and Goo Goo Dolls and all this other awesome music, and then like it had a actually really rad vehicle collection between Joe's Jeep J and Bill's 2500 Ram. And then there was like an OBS Ford in there. I think a square body Chevy. You had Dusty's van. So just a ton of really rad vehicles. But Joe's Jeep was my favorite. But back to the original point of the whole Dorothy thing. So the hard part about constructing the Dorothy for this truck was that if you watch the movie, and it's a fan of the movie, knows that this truck basically was like down like a crazy ravine, getting chased by a tornado, and then it boom, plows a bridge, and then like 2 seconds later, it's and then you see it, and it just gets dumped on its roof and gets destroyed, right? So, needless to say, Dorothy 1, there's not a whole lot of pictures, and if you're a super nerd like me, every single Dorothy, all 4 units were not the same. they were all a little bit different, but like the animators or whatever the wind crap is on them or something, whatever you want to call those devices. So I was like super nerdy about building it as accurate to the one that was in the back of Joe's truck. So needless to say, I have the movie on my iPhone, and I've probably watched the first 15 minutes of that movie about 452 times or something. I literally have like screenshots from like when Bill showed up to get the divorce papers signed, and like they all go running to like do the tornadoes, and like there's a glimpse of the truck like sitting in the field. Like I saved that. Like, so I just like I got super nerdy about it, and because I really just wanted to be as accurate as possible. And then that obviously constructing the Dorothy took a really long time, and I wanted it to be as accurate to the movie as possible. And then like I also wanted, like, you would think like, in a world of like 3D print and everything else, that it would be easy, which maybe now with how far it's come since I finished it, maybe it would be a little bit easier, but I'm also old school. I don't even have a 3D printer. I still enjoy like just sitting there with like plastic styrene glue and styrene and just whittling my parts with a file and sandpaper and stuff. So the entire Dorothy is completely scratch built. Everything is styrene. The main tube is actually just a piece of PVC. And then like the top glass, I did like as like little baby earth magnets. And then there's actually the sensor balls are actually in there. And those were another thing that were kind of hard to find. These actually ended up being, they cost me a fortune. They were actually like a body piercing jewelry. That's what I ended up using for those. And needless to say, I had to buy a ton of them. So that got expensive. And each single little sensor, shall we call it, has the little black wire sticking out of it, just like it did in the movie. And then a lot of people, like when they see this thing, they're like, "Oh, why do you do the aluminum to make the sensors fly?" And I'm really quick to point out that they didn't realize that until later in the movie, after I think the second or third unit got destroyed, that the pack was too light and that they needed to, construct the sensors with the aluminum on them to get them to, fly up with the wind of the twister, the tornado. And then ultimately they sacrificed the dodging end because it still needed to be anchored. So yeah, as you can see, I'm super nerdy about this. I wanted to nail down all the details, and I tried really hard. So like even like on the dash, it's got the camcorder like they had, and it also has the SLR camera, the bottle of water that was up there, and even the compass and like a handheld CB radio. And then I scratch built. The dash is actually an accurate Jeep J dash. And then the seats actually worked out perfectly. They were from Pepe from rccrawler.it, from his actual CJ7 kit. So they worked out perfect for this. They're an actual Jeep seat. The roll bar I scratch built myself. The light buckets are actually from a Tamiya high lift kit. The rear bumper I scratch built out of styrene, and then the license plate is even accurate to the one that was in the movie. Shout out to Crawler Concepts. Michelle always does all my license plates for me. She does fantastic work, her and her husband. And then the front bumper, I scratch built that as well. And at the time I didn't have a Cricut. I'm way behind on like technology. I mean, I still cut comms on my motors and stuff. I'm super old school and nerdy like that. So I didn't have a Cricut at the time. So I actually hand painted the KC lettering, just like it was in the movie, which now when I did 2RAD, I had the Cricut, and it makes like such easy work, but like it took me probably like 2 hours to paint that KC on these because I wanted it to be like so perfect. But yeah, so this is like a fan favorite. Everyone loves this thing. The lights work. The only other thing I really want to do to it is I want to get that, like, I gotta find like a sound system thing that I can install to get that like siren wailing thing that it had in the movie. That's probably the only thing it's really lacking, but otherwise it's pretty much as accurate as you can get to the movie. I mean, I've got the accurate antennas on it, just like it had. The paint scheme is just like it was in the movie. A little bit of weathering, just like the truck had. A little bit of like the whole used and abused Storm Chaser truck. And then like, the Dorothy is just, I got the all the wind meters. I've got my, your Doppler radar and all that stuff. And all those lights work and everything. And then like it even has the old school discontinued RC full drive, like actual scale ratchet straps and stuff. So yeah, I went.
Discontinued them. It's crazy. Should have kept them.
Yeah, so I just seen today that some guy on Facebook actually had some that looked really good. I think he got them from like almost like an Ally Express or one of those like weird, like where you don't know if you should order from that site because you don't know if you're ever going to get it.
Yeah.
But he actually just posted and I actually saved the post because I was like, oh man, like I've been looking to get these again, because like there hasn't been any ones that looked as accurate. And like to me, this was like a must-have detail too, because they used these type of ratchet straps in the movie. Because even at one point in the movie, I think when they loaded the second unit into the Ram, Bill climbs out like the back window and his hand gets like stuck in the ratchet. And, like cuts his hands, bleeding all over the place. Like I had to make sure that like it had those ratchet straps in there to hold the door at the end. So yeah, super nerdy about this one.
I love it, bro. That's a
That was
fan.
awesome, man.
There's a question or a note here for that, but there's a question before that.
Sure.
Philip, he wants to. You mentioned something about. He said, "What is the name of the product you use to strip the body?"
So it's called Purple Power, or but I find that one works better, but also Castrol Super Clean and Degreaser. And if you have like a to me a hard body, like one of those type of plastic bodies, most, I would say 90% of what people probably normally paint bodies with, it will strip it off. If it's a true automotive base coat clear coat, it is not gonna budge that, because that clear coat's just with the hardener and everything in it. But like for everyone that's kind of uses like Testors model paints or like some Krylon paints and things like that, it will definitely, it'll strip the bodies like pristinely clean, like where you use like a little toothbrush on like the the door crevices and stuff, and it'll work really good. Do not use it on Lexan. It will actually make the Lexan brittle. Learned that lesson the hard way. Years ago, I attempted to strip a Kyosho 4Runner in that, and I basically pulled it out and it just like shattered. So that was fun. So yeah, no Lexan. Hard body is okay. Make sure you don't have any body filler in it. Yeah.
Also great for stripping fake chrome.
Yes, it will definitely strip your chrome off too. I use it for that as well. Yep, another good technique. Yep.
Because chrome don't get you home. Everybody remember.
And there's a note from RC Supremacy. Brad says, when I saw this truck originally for the first time in person at the 2019 USD, it made me realize what type of levels this whole tiny truck game was on. Definitely, bro. It's just
yeah, it was funny because like, so when I've been to every UST since its inception, and the first year I went, I won an award for best detail, and I was like blown away that I won anything, because even though the event wasn't as big as it is now, there was still a lot of like really very nicely done trucks there that very first year. And the truck that I won it with was the Blue Lux. It's got like the missing fender and stuff. And that truck was a much older build. So like I was blown away that like I said, I kind of made the joke last week when we were talking that I feel like sometimes I'm kind of more of like a has-been, because I haven't like I was ahead of the times years ago, and now like I haven't quite caught back up to where everyone else is. It's definitely hard, man. There's some really talented guys. That I think the utmost respect for the guys that do like the full, like the guys that just build bodies completely from scratch. Like that just boggles my mind. Like it really does. I think we talked about, speaking of Jeep J's, I know we talked about this 4-door Jeep J last week from Russia. And this truck again, this thing is just, this is a whole entire scratch built body, like completely, kind of like that Ford just showed you guys in the showcase. But this guy did a sick job on it. When you look at this thing, from side to side. And I think that's probably the hardest part. Like, it's one thing to get like, one side, perfect or whatever, but then you still have to do the other side. You know what I mean? Like there's still like, there's so much that goes into it. And like that body's done, like that thing's legit, is done fantastic. And he started with nothing. So the twister truck, fun fact, this was actually a clodbuster body that Richard converted. So this started out as one of the Chevy, clodbuster bodies, a Chevy pickup truck body, and Rich turned it into a Jeep J. So again, we all know I'm a huge fan of Rich and his skills and his build and stuff like that. That's why I own probably more part of my new builds than part of my noob himself owns.
That is sick, man. Let me see here.
I think it is sick.
Yeah, definitely, brother. It says at Tag RC, welcome in, brother. Thank you for being here with us. Guys, if you have any more questions for Mike, feel free to post them on the chat. I know we have been seeing, and he's been talking about his amazing collection, guys, over 130 plus, right?
Over 130 plus. Yep.
Take RCs, man, just incredible collection, bro. It's just
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you.
I know going to events, I know you mentioned USD. Well, what is that event that you always looking for? Is that USD or you have another event close to you?
Yeah, definitely USTE, without a doubt. And I don't remember if we touched on it last time, but basically how I even found out about USTE so I think I mentioned a little bit last time, was that I tend to every once in a while ruffle the feathers of people in the hobby or the industry and stuff, because I've been around. If there's one thing, like, not everyone may think I'm like the coolest guy or whatever, or may not necessarily always care for me and some of my views and opinions, but the one thing you can't take away from me is I've been doing it for a really long time, and I've been at the forefront of scale RC kind of since, like, it's, if you want to call it, like, its inception or whatever. So like and I'm a huge full size car enthusiast, so I have that background. I was, before the sheriff's office, I was a Toyota mechanic, factory trained certified Toyota mechanic and all that stuff. So I know full size cars. So like when we talk scale RC, like when I think of scale RC, it should resemble, that's like, it should look like you took something, the full size car, and hit it with a shrink ray, and like, here you have it. You know what I mean? And over the years, more specifically with Sorka, I've tend to butt heads sometimes with some of their rules. I mean, they've come a long way. They've gotten a lot better. The last few years, revisions have been better, but there was a point in time where it was kind of getting away from, scale RC, which is the purpose of it, and not scale RC in terms of like, oh, we're doing 1/10 scale rock crawling. Like, we're doing scale dollhouse, which that's where I basically coined that term by having a Facebook live rant about rules, because it was like they were allowing things like a paperclip to count as a rock slider, like a paperclip stuck in a Lexan body, and they were giving points as a rock slider. And I was like, what? You cannot stick, in real life, you would never stick a rock slider against the body of a truck. Like, the rocker will, or the door will fold like a tin can. It's like, no, what are you doing? And then like brass parts, and then I think we joked a little bit last time about like the whole clear wheels thing with Adam and I. So what happened was it was during a time period, and again, like I've kind of had the little bit of a privilege to sometimes work with manufacturers, whether it's like RC Full Drive or others, to give them like insight and stuff. And again, I'm not a comp guy, so I guess sometimes that's hard, because I guess a lot of what the industry relies on is people competing and going to event stuff, and I'm not that. But I don't like to toot my own horn here, but like I think I know a little bit about building toy trucks, just a little bit. So when people like ask you like, hey, what size tire should we be doing, and this and that and everything else, and you're providing insight, and then all of a sudden, like, your nationally sanctioned rules, this tire is coming out as like it's been being worked on the whole year, And then they're going to be debuting it towards the end of the year again, like obviously, holidays and Christmas, like that's going to be your big selling times and stuff. And now all of a sudden though, but like the rules are getting ready to be revamped again for the following year. And now like a company just invested all this money into a tire. I want to say I think at the time it might have been Proline, but they're Swamper. And basically they had made it a certain size, and then they literally released that they were not allowing that size in class 1 anymore, which was literally the class they designed the tire for. If I remember this correctly, we're going back several years now. And I was kind of vocal about that because we were still on, the dawn of scale at this point. At least in my opinion, it was still really more up and coming. And I didn't want to see like, here's a major manufacturer that's tried to support us. Because you have to remember when we started doing, like when RC Crawlers started in 2004 and things really start kicking off in like 05, 06, we didn't have any support. Like we had none. Like Jason from RC Crawler, he had to go to Novak and pitch this whole idea about why we needed drag brake. And now, almost 20 years later, like you couldn't even imagine having a speed controller without drag brake, because that's just a thing now, because like crawling is tremendous. Everyone does scale crawling, or whatever type of crawling. But like we were in a time period where things were where I would kind of consider to be still a little bit maybe like fragile, and to all of a sudden just be like, hey, this company invested how much time and money and R&D and everything else, and now you just ban their tire from the biggest class. Like how are we gonna look to them as a segment in the hobby that's up and coming when we do something like that? So it kind of sparked a little bit of a rant on my part, which bled into all the other things that I thought were kind of ridiculous or nonsense. And again, that's where the term, the dollhouse term came from, because people, I sat where the red cases are, which is where I usually do my YouTube videos. And I went on live and I had announced that I was doing it. So I obviously had people that supported what I did. And then I also had people that were kind of like, you don't compete, like get off your soapbox. Your trucks are shelf queens, or just, no one's here to rock crawl dollhouse trucks. And that's kind of like where the term dollhouse trucks came from. But I steadfast, I stood there and I said what I had to say, and I got off my chest, and the rules did change. There were changes that happened, and I'm not gonna sit here and say it was because of me, but that sparked a conversation then with Rob Matthews. So immediately following my Facebook rant, I get a message from Rob, and it's like, hey, I'm putting on this event and you're going to want to come to it. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, what do you guys like? It's for, quote unquote dollhouse trucks. So I'm like, sign me up. I'm like, do I have to tech my truck? He's like, no. I'm like, is a hand of God frowned upon? He's like, it's encouraged. I'm like, all right, we're getting somewhere here. I'm like, and he's like, yeah, we want the utmost realistic of realistic trucks to come to this event. And he's like, we want builders like you. So needless to say, I got on the phone with Rob and we have this whole conversation, and basically who turned Rob on to my rant and speaking to me was actually Chris from GCM. So Chris watched my rant and he was like, this guy's onto something. And it sparked this whole thing. And then, I get invited down to UST and I go and I've been every year since. That's definitely, my event. People aside, I mean, we've talked about how much I love the Florida crew, last week and stuff, but the event for what it stands for is that's why I love to go, because it focuses more on the modeling side, which in my opinion, when when scale comps were really, really big and you had the nationals events and all these things going on, my big thing that I was trying to preach was like, you're giving away, you're getting big sponsors, right? Like, RC Four Drive sponsoring or Axial sponsoring or HPI or whoever it was at the time. And they're donating kits for you to give away to your podium finishers, right? And I understand competitions and sports and things like that. I know we talked the last time, I'm not really a big sports guru fan. I'm more of a, if it's got wheels and an engine kind of guy, but I understand the, competitive nature and I don't frown upon it. I mean, I'm also not the guy that cares about a bowling trophy though either. And for me, when we talk about scale RC, like for a scale truck event, I think, you know, when you're talking class one, I think the truck should look something like this. Like it should be as accurate as possible. It should look like your daily driver, occasional weekend warrior. And it should, the purpose behind it should be to build the truck as realistic as possible, because it's a scale truck event. And then, you know, your performance, obviously I understand it's a competition, so it has to be usable, but the emphasis should be on the scale part. And I was a big, like a pusher for, like, don't just give away the kits for, you know, the guy that drove really well. I mean, I appreciate, you know, I've had the privilege of wheeling with some of the best drivers out there. Tim Warpig, I mean, that guy, I've seen that guy pull lines. I'm like, you know, I've literally judged, you know, at events that I've got to watch Tim run lines, and he's an incredible driver. My buddy Dean, another incredible driver. So I respect, you know, the driver mod 100%. But when you know, again, if it's a scout truck event, you should be rewarding the guy that built the most realistic truck first and managed to be able to drive it and still score well. And I think that's kind of like what I like about UST, because it's not about, you know, the necessarily, like, you know, a comp driving. It's, you know, they have all these epic trails and you just go out and you run them all day long, and, you know, with all your friends. And then the only real competition is who built the raddest truck that year, you know, whether it's, you know, best detail or best weathering or best engine bay. And I just love seeing, you know, the boundaries of that being pushed, because not to take anything away from the good drivers, but, you know, with driving, that's like a skill that becomes, like, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, right? Like building models and like this type of stuff is something that takes a lot more, in my opinion, man hours to master. Therefore, like, if I'm at a scale truck event, I expect there to be scale trucks, and to, you know, for them to be, that should be like what's empowering the event. And for me, that's what UST does. And then obviously connecting, you know, the people with the manufacturers, you know, I love that aspect of it too, because, you know, these are guys that, you know, we support and they support us. You know, for example, like Reef Servos, all the guys from Reefs, I love those dudes. And Reef Servos is what made the two rad truck possible, be it their mini micro servos for making the bed work, because the truck ended up being pretty heavy, and like your standard everyday, you know, micro servos were not cutting it. So if it wasn't for their servos, after I had literally constructed the entire bed operating system, you know, they wouldn't have worked. I would have had to redo it. So, you know, the aspect of connecting everyone, having the vendor row right there, you know, I love that part of it. And then obviously all the other little, you know, side events, like obviously, you know, I love vintage, you know, Tamiya stuff. So racing the vintage buggies and the monster trucks, you know, and as you know, like, you know, we all know, like, time is valuable. So to be able to go to one place and do everything in this hobby that I love to do, whether it's the model part of, you know, the modeling part of it, on the model building part. Obviously we all know the trails that are epic, and then you throw in some vintage buggy racing, some monster truck racing, and whatever other rad stuff they are doing that year. It's kind of like a one-stop shop. You know what I mean? So that's definitely my must-do event, without a doubt. Yeah.
Awesome. We always look forward to that event. That is local here to our headquarters in Operation 11 Charlie. Very special event.
Yeah.
And especially Rob being a fellow veteran as well. So
Yep.
And our cause tremendously. Let me see here. I think there was something. There's a comment here. Let me see if I missed it. Rob Gunny said TT4. He said, "Did I hear you say had a King Cobra built? He was a major inspiration in the old forum days."
Yes. Yeah. So I've got a whole bunch of King Cobra's builds. I could show you. We could double back through those real quick. So I have Tim's his original Camaro chassis, and then the original body to the Camaro. I have that as well, but that's now on a tube chassis car. So that's Tim's actual original body. Then because the car he had sold the original car, changed hands a couple of times, and then my online buddy of mine, Daniel, he goes by Looney Bin on the forums. He built like a legit, like, like pro stock or, pro mod type chassis for it. So then I also have his CUDA, his purple CUDA here. And then we've talked about the 57 Chevy, which is my all-time favorite RC car. Also his Rat Rod pickup truck. I have that one as well. This was another Camaro that was done by Looney Bin as a tribute to Tim's original car. So Tim's original car was painted pretty much this exact same, grayish color with a cowl hood like this. And Looney Bin Dan started building that as like a replica right before, Tim unfortunately passed away. And then when he kind of burned out on it, I grabbed it, and I've been slowly working on it over the years. And then I think probably my favorite vehicle from Tim's collection is going to be his little F-150 pre-runner truck. Nice. And it is actually it's just a Hornet, believe it or not, but it's got the like that old Tamiya F-150 pre-runner body from like their TA01, I think it was, chassis. And then I have his original body, and I actually I run that truck. That's one of my favorite ones to run. And I have the original body that Tim painted, because Tim was a phenomenal, just well-rounded builder. And I didn't want the original body to get too banged up, because I really do enjoy running the truck. So I actually had Ultra Hive paint that body to go on there. And then like on the windshield, it says in memory of King Cobra and stuff like that. So yeah, Tim was one of my all-time favorite builders. Definitely take it from us, too soon from cancer, unfortunately. But I was fortunate to, years back, befriend his son at a certain point when he was looking to kind of move ways with his collection. And I was pretty much able to buy just about everything. The only thing I don't have was his Hummer, which actually ended up in RC Driver magazine. And I kind of screwed up on that one a little bit, because someone beat me to that one, because I was very concerned about getting the 57 Chevy and the Rat Rod pickup, because those were two of like my real favorite ones, and the pre-runner, which I didn't even know if the pre-runner still existed at the time. That was actually the second pre-runner he had built. He had built another one, which I don't know where it is or what happened to it, but it actually had like a Tyco hard body on it. I have pictures of it, and every once in a while I'll repost it to see if like someone might have this thing sitting around, because I would love to add that. But I spent a lot of money to get the ones that I have, and then the Hummer was kind of his staple of his builds, and that one someone else bought it, and then that guy ended up partying with it, and at the time he asked me if I wanted it, and I couldn't swing it at the time, and I didn't have that relationship like we talked about last week, like how I've developed like this rapport with people over the years, where I've been fortunate that people will let me make payments and stuff on things. I didn't have that with that particular individual. So unfortunately, I don't know where the Hummer is right now, but if I ever see it pop up, I'm definitely going to try to preserve that one as well, because Tim was definitely a legendary and a builder and an inspiration, and a part of the reason why we are in the hobby to this day, at least in my opinion. So
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely. But I'm new in the hobby, but I have heard about him on that. TT4C Rock on and said, "Whoa, I don't get jealous often, but I'm 100% right now." Oh man, just incredible. I love to hear those stories, Mike. It's about that time, bro. We're done.
Man, yeah, we did. We chewed it up again.
I love it. I love it, Mike. I love hearing your stories, all that stuff, seeing your collections, brother. It's just incredible. Anything else you want to mention to the guys? Anything you want to talk real quick before we start heading out?
I think we covered a lot of ground again today. I think today was kind of just to wrap up some of the more intricate stuff that we didn't get to talk about last time. Yes. but yeah, I mean, if anyone ever has any questions or anything like that, obviously the social media can hit me up on there, and I answer all my messages, believe it or not. Again, I wouldn't be where I wouldn't have the rapport I have with everyone if it wasn't for the interaction stuff. So I love to talk toy trucks to people. So if anyone has anything, even after the fact or down the road, definitely reach out, shoot me a message or whatever. I'm always happy to talk toy trucks and cars, and even the full size cars and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it, man. I guess that's it. I appreciate everyone watching and listening to me ramble about toy trucks for almost 2 hours.
The guys love it. I put your links here, Facebook or Instagram. Anybody wants to hit up Mike. And I said, let me see here, something from Rob Gunning said the first pre-runner was in the HPI office for years when I worked there.
Really?
I thought about stealing everything.
Wow. So someone from there. Oh wow. I'm gonna try to reach out to those guys then. Oh man, I would love to. I have pictures of it saved. I would love, because that's actually a hard body. That's what makes it so cool. It's like a hard ABS body. Oh, I have to try to. We're gonna have to do some digging out. It's a good lead.
Yes. Here, if I can do this, share. I'm trying to share this. My guys, we still have that raffle going on. It's $10 a spot. Guys, so it's gonna be, we closing it as of now. We are closing it on Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern time, guys. So we'll still have that raffle going on. Let me see, I can copy the link. I could post it here real quick on the chat, guys. And for any updates on that, yes, that's our.
Jake, how many spots we have left?
Oh no, it's open spots.
It's open.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Open spots, guys. So $10 a spot. And again, everything that we do here helps our guys take care of our veterans, either events, the via outings, any stuff that we do within the organization with our fellow veterans. So we are very grateful on that. Also, I know it's that time about taxes, so we are Flower City nonprofit. All you guys are in need of that documents, please reach out to us, right? So especially the ones that help us through the year donating stuff, so they're tax deductible on that. So thank you so much for the support. And let me see what else that we forgot to mention. Let me go back to gallery mode. Man, oh, I forgot to ask you, Mike, how many times, this Disney has that ride, right? Oh, is it Disney or it was Universal?
It was Universal, and you know what is a huge bummer? So I belong to a Twister movie fan page, and they closed it?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. I just found out about it today because it's like some guy finally had been like waiting to make it to Universal or whatever. And he went to where it was and he was like, like it's not there anymore. And I was like, and I went on that. I'm terrible at like motion sickness and stuff, but like I still did it because like I was such a nerd about the movie. But yeah, I can't believe they got rid of it. I was like, killing me.
I remember. I've been there a few times to that ride. So
yeah. Crazy.
Definitely.
That was a loss.
I know, brother. So I guess that's it, guys. Next Monday, we'll be traveling back from Beat the Creek, guys. So there will be no show next Monday, guys. So we'll post on social media the following the Monday after that, who will be a special guest. So again, this weekend will be at Beat the Creek. Looking forward to see our Operation 11 Charlie family and friends, all our warriors. Looking forward to hang out with them. All our guys that are traveling, and be safe out there. We'll be driving. I think our ride is what, 16 hours, Rob?
Yep.
Right there.
Yeah, it's about that.
So yeah,
I'll make it into a 2-day. I'm stopping in Georgia, and then I'll drive the rest of the next day.
Definitely looking forward. Larry, welcome in, my brother. Let me see. Should TT4C can use? Oh yes. Okay, they're talking with them. I think that's it, guys. Anything else that we forgot to mention, Jake, Rob?
I don't think so.
No, I think we're good.
Awesome. Bennett is still here. I think Sean is out. He still got his stuff there. I think that's it, guys. If we forgot to mention anything, again, keep us following on social media. Right, Operation 11 Charlie Inc. I already post our o11c.org is our website, guys. So I think that's it, and then we'll start saying our goodbyes real quick right here. Go ahead, Rob.
All right, guys. Thank you for everybody that's in the chat week over week. Thank you so much for your support and love that you guys bring to us. Everybody that's on the board today, awesome having you guys here. Mike, going over the rest of your collection,
Right
getting
on.
some details, getting some history. It's been awesome. It really has.
Right
But
on.
I'm starting to feel possibly a scale challenge that I'm building up in my head. Yeah. You got some awards. I got some awards. I got some awards. I'm gonna talk to Lee from RC Car Acts and see if we can make this happen.
All right, right on.
Awesome, awesome, Rob. Well said, brother. Jake.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Mike, I think if I ever was in your basement, I'd be down there for days just staring at stuff. And I was gonna say see you next Monday, but no, we're not. So
Following.
following Monday.
Following Monday. We'll see you. Actually, we'll see you guys on Wednesday, right, Jake?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yes.
If
Get the spin
anything
of you.
changes, guys, if anything changes, we will post on social media. But as of now, is 10 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. We'll be drawing the winner for that Vanquish RTR straight axle raffle.
Currently, there's 33 spots sold. So
Awesome. Guys, again, thank you so much for the support. It means a lot to us and to our cause and what you guys are helping us do in taking care of our warriors. Definitely. Let me see here. Benedict's not here. Sean?
Everybody in the chat, thank you very much for every week showing the support to 11 Charlie, week in, week out. Without you guys, 11 Charlie wouldn't be possible. And for everyone heading to Beat the Creek, safe travels, everybody. Hope you all get there safe. And have you as usual. Thanks for making me part of it, brother.
Thank you, my bro. Thank you for being part of all of you guys and the guys behind the scenes and our family members as well, always helping out. Mike, if you want to say your goodbyes, brother.
Sure thing. Yeah, I just want to thank everyone that's tuned in the last 2 weeks. I hope everyone got to get a better overview of everything and got a little info on some scale history over the last however many years or decades now at this point. I thank everyone for just tuning in and watching and listening to me babble on about toy trucks. I probably love talking toy trucks more than just about anybody. So yeah, just thank you everyone. Thank you to my sponsors, the people who support what I do. My fiance Ashley, she's one of my biggest supporters. The second week in a row she's allowed me to come down here and babble on about toy trucks. She's great about that. So thank you to her. And I wish everyone happy rest of the week, and everyone that's traveling to BTC next week, safe travels, have fun, tiny truck it up, represent for the diehard scale guys, and catch you guys on the next one at some point.
Definitely, Mike. Thank you again, man. You're welcome at any time, brother. Definitely, we need to bring you
Right
back
on.
sometime this year. And looking forward to meet you in person at 24.
Absolutely.
My goodness, bro, we almost halfway this year, man. Oh my lord.
Javi, that was a slur. Yeah,
I know. I said something. I know. So I always mess it up. Again, thank you so much for the support, everybody, and thank you so much. We are looking forward to see our guys, our veterans out there on the trails that beat the creek, and talking to everybody out there. Anybody wants to hang out with us and our warriors at beat the creek, feel free to join us. Feel free to say hi to us on our booth and our campground, and so we could talk a little bit about what we do here in Operation 11 Charlie. Again, thank you so much for the support. If I didn't forget anything else, remember next Monday we'll be off, guys. We'll be see you the following Monday. So thank you so much and be safe out there, everybody. Thank you.